Hello, everyone. It is Monday, March 13th, 9:58 a.m. We have Sister Lucia Fatima here with us today, making a special appearance. Get off my table, kitty. And I'm going to go back into Blessed Anna Maria Taigi. But before I do that, I just want to, there's a couple comments I have, a couple that I have been pondering. Number one, the tides are turning against the sexual revolution. Mark my words. I'm going to get into that in a minute. And point number two, as Catholics, we need to stop taking the blame for Protestantism. Okay. And so the problem is Catholics are ignorant, and they think we're all just Christians, and it's, hey, stop scratching my couch. Lucia. Sorry. She's nuts. So Catholics are ignorant, and we think that like Protestants are like our friends, and we're all trying to worship Christ, and we can just all do that together, and everything's fine. But you're actually hurting opportunities for evangelization by thinking that. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's look at some of the woke agenda complaints. Not that I'm saying I particularly agree with them, but some of them do hold water, and history can't be denied. Not all of them, but some of them do. For example, some of the biggest complaints from the woke crowd is racism and slavery. Okay, let's accept that for a minute. Let's accept it, and let's put the blame where the blame is due. So the plantation owners and things like this, not all of them, there were some Catholics involved, but for the most part were white Protestant men. The Catholic Church, believe it or not, fought against slavery from the beginning. So stop taking the blame. Let's talk about the slaughter of Native Americans by the anti-Catholic, Pope-hating Puritans who didn't celebrate Christmas. I'm, as a Catholic, not taking the blame for that. As a matter of fact, the Catholics had a very good relationship with the Native American population and did very well to try to convert them and educate them and provide for their spiritual needs. The reason why the Protestants weren't successful and they had to resort to slaughtering them was because even the pagans understood that whatever the Protestants were preaching was not true religion. See, the Protestants are counterculture. They're anti-culture. They're all about tearing down. They're not about religious culture. And every society had a culture. The pagans had a culture based around religion. Okay. And so at some point, we're going to have to really, as a church, step away from the Protestants. I'm at the point where I won't even call them Christians because they're not. What they are thieves. And I'm not blaming the Protestants of today that are very deceived, but if we look at history, these are facts. I know they're uncomfortable. They stole our scriptures and they stole our identity. So they're now parading around talking about that they're the true Christians and that the church that Jesus Christ founded is the beast system and the church of the Antichrist. Though they're not Christians. And you can see, if you honestly look at history, you can see that most of the times that Christians get a bad rep for being hateful or being, murderers or whatever, destroyers, it's not the Catholics, it's the Protestants. So at some point, we're going to have to, as a church, get a little more vocal about the distinction. We are not the same. We're just not. They are not Christians. They have a book. They have one of our holy books that they have disfigured and that they quote scripture out of, but that doesn't make you a Christian. That's not true religion. And it's pretty sad because their whole religion is based off of a book that they can't even interpret. So stop taking the blame and stop lumping yourselves in with Protestants, please. You're not doing Jesus and his church any favors by trying to get along with them. I'm not saying you have to be hateful. That's not what I'm saying. But there has to be, we have to admit there are some very big, drastic differences, and there is some bad blood that can't be overlooked. Sorry. If they want to repent and apologize and come back into the true church, we welcome them with open arms, and we pray for them, for the salvation of their souls. But to try to lump us all in together, stop doing it. It's not going to work out well. The next thing, the sexual revolution is coming to an end here. And I'm going to share something with you from my little dating escapades here. So I matched with some guy up in Charlotte, and he was reading my bio. And so I'll just read my bio really quick. So I figured, so I don't waste my time here, I needed to be upfront about what I'm about, my belief system, and especially in the areas of sexual teachings. And so my phone was being super slow. Hold on. Okay. So this is part of it, to save us both time, I believe that sex is sacred and should be reserved for marriage, and I'm not willing to compromise on it. The only person I will be putting out for will be my husband. Okay, so in response to that, somebody, I won't show you him to keep his privacy protected, he said, the sacred sex thing is cool. I've been celibate for 4 years now. Too bad you're so far away. And I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. God bless you. I said, is it for religious reasons or something else? And then I was like making jokes about online dating and how that's a rare concept. And he said, this I found so fascinating. He says, no, it's not for religious reasons. Just tired of the hookup culture. And more importantly, not attracted to modern women at all. Huge turnoff. And then so we started talking. I'm like, yeah, I totally agree. Feminism ruins society. And then I started getting into the French Revolution, blah, blah, blah. But it just goes to show you, like, this man, and this is no slouch. Like, this guy, from what I understand, does well for himself. He's very attractive, 40 years old. He is financially stable. And his bio says, looking for a traditional woman to build a life with. And he's smoking hot. I'll just be honest. Like, he's in shape. Like, he's not like some trailer park guy out in the backwoods with a dilapidated single wide and 85 dogs wanting a woman to be obedient to him or he'll beat her. And that's not what it is. This is what you would consider a high value man. I guess that's a term now. A man of high value. He has his you know what together. And he is not religious. So imagine a man in 2023 being so fed up with the culture that he's not even celibate for Jesus. Like, he's not even celibate because he wants to get to heaven. He's just like, I can't do this. Like, this is wild. Like, I've had enough of this. And it's the same thing everywhere. And so I texted my friend this morning. I'm like, this is wild. Check this out. And he said, what did he say? Hold on. He said that he said, see, I told you, the dude is burnt out on the women that just get driven through every weekend. It's a dark void that just ends in more disappointment. The dude doesn't even want sex anymore. Modern women are a total turnoff, like I said. Yeah, it could be fun for a couple of years, but by the end of it, you have given everything of that sort away and come away with nothing except emptiness. And I just wanted to read that because I could not have said it better myself. And so people are realizing that the sexual revolution, the lies of the sexual revolution are exactly that. They're lies. They're not meaningful. You know, the whole idea of free sex is not meaningful. Listen, when something's free, you just don't want it anymore. Like, there is such thing as too much of a good thing. And so you have straight up men who are not even religious, that have their acts together, that are like, I don't even want to do that. Like, I'm so disgusted with women in this culture. I don't even want to do that. And then he goes on to say his complaints are, my friend, he said, yeah, like, if there's something wrong with the car, I'm expected to fix it. But God forbid I expect you to make me a sandwich or bring me a glass of water when I'm mowing the lawn. That would make me a toxic guy. And I'm like, I guess I've never took the time to really see it from the guy perspective. But here's the thing, like, feminism is a joke. Like, you can sit there all day long girls and pretend like you can be just as whatever as men. But the fact of the matter is we're different and our DNA is never going to change. So we need each other. I know that's not popular, but we need each other. Guys, you need women, and women, you need men, or guess what? Society dies. And I guess that's what they're going for because the planet's overpopulated, right? And the other thing I want to say about birth control, I have always had physical issues with birth control. Even before I had my conversion and I was still living in the world and everything else, I could not be on the hormones. My body doesn't react well. My body rejects everything like that. So I know, number one, it's bad for you. Number two, it's like, to me, it's a turn off. Like, I don't know. For me, it's like, you want to wear a barrier between you and your woman. Like, what kind of man are you? Like, you want to pull out? Like, I don't mean to be graphic, but like, you're a loser. Like, you're a big kitty cat. Like, you're not, I don't know. To me, it's like fake, and it's not for me. But anyway, with that being said, I just wanted to give y'all hope. The sexual revolution, the only thing the sexual revolution has produced is trashy perverts. That's it. Trashy perverts and women with fake eyelashes who walk around like they own the world. Like, let me rip the eyelashes off your face and then we'll talk. Like, stop. Just stop. Sorry, I'm in a mood this morning. Can you tell? But seriously, like, the only thing that's happened from the sexual revolution is the perverts have risen to the top. So now society is being run by perverts. Congratulations. I don't think this is the way y'all imagined it was going to go. So in order to take back the culture, we have to get back to tradition. So if you are a Catholic traditional woman, it's about to be your time to shine. So these men are sick of the modern women. They're going to start coming. The pendulum's going to swing back, and we're going to be able to get dates eventually. So hang in there. I wanted to give y'all some hope. All right. So anyway, here we go. I'm getting back to Blessed Anna Maria because this is the secret to how we take back society. Reading people like Blessed Anna Maria Taigi. So the heart of a saint, charity towards the souls in purgatory, charity towards the sick, charity towards the poor, and tenderness towards animals. The suffering souls never ceased to claim her prayers, but their deliverance cost her the pains of a continual purgatory. For souls, she would drag herself to the cemetery. Her visits took place for 40 consecutive days. She always made them, whatever the season, in spite of sun, rain, cold, mud, and recited over every grave 3 times eternal rest in a prayer. She prayed especially for the souls of priests. One day, while she was assisting at Mass for the sake of some souls, she suffered untold anguish. Cardinal Pedicini said, the second Mass, and at the Gloria, the Beata saw the soul delivered and entering heaven. She felt ready to die for joy at this ravishing sight. To souls delivered from purgatory, she recommended the interests of the Church and of the Pope, the Christ on earth, as she called him, after Catherine of Siena. Yet it is the presence of the sick that this heart, infinite in its manifestations of tenderness, reveals itself to greatest advantage. When she was summoned by the sick, says Domenico in his deposition, she went straight away, whatever time it was. I had given her the fullest permission. Her motto was, never refuse a poor person. During her absence, her mother did send one away. On returning, Anna begged with tears, in the name of heaven, my good mother, never send anyone away without giving him an alms. If there is nothing else, you will always find a loaf in the cupboard. During the famine, it was an astonishing miracle to Domenico that the cupboard was never empty of bread. Legions of beggars called, and as if they were not sufficiently numerous already, Anna went round the doss houses and even to the luxury hotels where the revolution had multiplied the poor who were ashamed to beg. One day in winter, when she came out of the Pieta church with Monsignor Natali, she met in the street a young man who was almost naked. His eyes were haggard. He was crying with cold and hunger. A veritable scepter covered with filth, from whom the passerbys drew aside as from one smitten with the plague. Anna ran to him, took him by the hand, led him to her room, warmed him, washed him, dressed him, restored him, consoled him, gave him alms, and sent him away with 1,000 expressions of regard so that he wept and could find no word to answer. Another day, she had reached the Church of Our Lady of Consolation when she came upon a poor woman stretched out on the road, foaming at the mouth in a fit of epilepsy. The passerby shunned her with averted heads. Anna drew near, wiped away the slaver, lifted her up, and went to a neighboring shop to buy her a cordial. Charity is contagious. The crowd stopped. A voluntary collection was organized and given to the poor woman. Once she had restored her, Anna effaced herself and went to the church. There, an ecstasy awaited her. Like St. Martin of old, who had just shared his cloak with a poor man of Amiens, she heard our Savior say to her, "Thank thee, my daughter, for the care thou hast given to me." At the Hospital of St. John for Incurables in the St. James Quarter, there were similar incidents. Sophie, who accompanied her, saw her mother going from bed to bed, distributing sweetmeats and helping the sick to bring up phlegm. The patient she singled out was a woman whose face was eaten away by cancer. Her head had been covered by a veil. The moment she heard Annette, a murmur of joy came from behind her mask. Anna went to her, caressed her, washed her, and while rocking her like a baby, spoke to her of heaven. At this hospital of St. James, there was a woman called Santa whose husband had given her a contagious disease that ravaged her face. For that reason, her head was covered in a hood. I think, too, she was no longer able to see. When she heard Mama's voice, she used to cry, "Here is my angel." My mother would remain a long time with her. I would press her to come away, for the stench was very bad. But she would answer, "But smell the fragrance of her soul. She will go straight from bed to paradise." Another day, when she heard that the daughter of one of her bitterest persecutors was ill, she went to pay her a visit and to comfort her mother. At every visit, she took some sweetmeats. In the end, she made the sign of the cross over her with a statue of Our Lady, and the sick woman recovered. Cardinal Pedicini says she had a special gift for consoling the afflicted, but that she was not content with a barren expression of sympathy, but rather employed her relations in the aiding of others. Her kindness extended to the very animals. "These poor animals," she used to say, "have their sole paradise in this world, so it is only just that we should try to sweeten their lives." When, because of illness, she went by carriage on the pilgrimage of the 7 churches, she would ask the coachman if the horses had enough to eat, and would buy some hay for their refreshment while she was in church. She caressed the wounds of these good creatures, as also the injured dogs and cats, and thus cured them. The Society for the Protection of Animals could scarcely fail to take the Beata for patroness. I wonder if we must go back to her example to explain why the people of Rome are so kind to cats. Who has not seen round the Pantheon, about 5 minutes walk away from Anna's home, the foregathering of sickly, scraggly, and mangy cats lying down among the debris of the columns? They wait there for the daily dole that a few poor women never fail to bring them. The fact is, so I am told by a learned and most friendly professor of the Gregorian University, to whom my book owes much, that in Anna's time the sickly cats had a splendid camp in the Forum of Trajan, but recent excavations have driven them to the Pantheon. Okay, that was a short chapter, so I'm going to leave it there. And let's see who's in the chat. Hi, Katie. Send me a picture of him, please. Yeah, he's too far away, so there's nothing that's going to develop out of it. But I was so incredibly fascinated by the fact that this man is celibate for 4 years, not even because of Jesus, because he's that fed up with the culture. So I'm telling you, that pendulum is going to swing hard back in the other direction. It's going to be cool to be traditional again. It's happening because they push too far. That's what Satan always does. He pushes too far and people are rejecting it. People that aren't even religious are trying to live like the religious people. What does that tell you? It's backfiring. Their entire plan is backfiring. The ship is sinking. Everything is coming down. And we have to take this opportunity as knowledgeable Catholics, honestly, to instruct people. Like I was doing it yesterday, family dinner, right? And the Indian thing got brought up, the natives, and about how the Christians came over here and slaughtered. I think my dad said we came over here and slaughtered the natives. And I'm like, Dad, there's no we. We did nothing. We did not do that. Don't take that. That was the Puritans who didn't even celebrate Christmas and chanted death to the Pope in the streets. That was not us. So stop. I had to yell. I didn't yell, but I had to talk to him firmly. But this is the problem in America. We are lumping, as Catholics, we cannot lump. This country has never been friendly to us, okay? So don't make excuses for it. Take this as an opportunity to evangelize and say, Well, obviously, if the Protestants are the ones responsible for all that and the Catholics were fighting against it, then maybe the Catholic Church is the true church. That's what we have to do. I am not taking responsibility for slavery or nothing, anything like that. Like, and my family's so ignorant, I swear. Like, they hated us. Like, they hated my ancestors, Irish and Italian. The Irish were persecuted in Ireland under the penal laws, which is how they got here. And my Italian side were persecuted once they got here. They couldn't get jobs or anything else. Not so much my family. By the time my family came, it was a little better, from what I understand. But the early ones did get persecuted. They were hated by the Protestants. The Protestants did not want Catholics here because they thought that the Catholics would be their allegiance would be to Rome instead of America, and rightfully so. So I don't want to hear any of this. We did this. The white Christians did this. No, the white Protestants, who cannot even call themselves Christian, did that. They are heretics. They are frauds. They have stolen our identity and are parading around like they're the true Christians while persecuting the actual church. So I'm not taking responsibility. I never will. And I will always defend my church. Not to say that we've been perfect. The church is full of corrupt people from the beginning of time. But we shouldn't be taking the blame for stuff we didn't do. That's for sure. That is not justice. So Tim and Steph did a great show today with Elliot Hulse. Oh, who's Elliot Hulse? I don't think I heard about him. I'll have to check it out. I love them. I love Tim and Steph. We need more of them. And I came across on, I think it was Pints with Aquinas. I got to go back and look up her name. She's an African-American woman, a personal trainer. I think she was like a bodybuilder at some point, a Catholic, a traditionally minded Catholic out in California. And she talks a lot about true femininity and how, you know, it's not being weak either. That's not it. But submitting to your husband and, you know, not submitting to everyone, but your husband and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm telling you, like, it is swinging back hard. It is, people are rejecting this culture because they see all that the sexual revolution has produced has been a disaster. It has destroyed the family. It has destroyed marriages, and the perverts are now in control in the church and in society. I think the church probably went woke before society went woke. If you want to, I mean, not really. I guess I would consider society going woke, probably starting with the Protestants. The Protestants paved the way for the Enlightenment. They paved the way for the Freemasons. And it was like how this country was founded. It was Protestant Freemasons who founded this country. And I'm not taking the blame for their crap. Sorry, I'm not a Protestant and I'm not a Freemason. So blame away, but I'm not interested. So I have to check that out. Thank you, Katie. I'm fired up today. I don't know. I was on the Stairmaster this morning. I was like thinking about I was thinking about the sexual revolution. I've really been thinking about this guy. Like, I've just never heard a non-religious man say they're being celibate because they're sick of the modern woman. I've just never heard anything like that in my life. But it gave me hope. Like I said, he's far, so there'll never be anything, but it gave me hope. Like, thank you for telling me that. So now there is hope. Like, there's a ray, a glimmer of hope. And I'm telling you, it'll be a movement. It'll be a movement, and it'll swing back the other way. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Elliot is a great revert. Oh, I'll have to check it out. Thank you. All right, onward with my day. I have so many background checks to do. So that's where I'll be. I will talk to y'all later. Joan of Arc Media out.